Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's Erin with Lady Poe Designs. I hope everybody had a very happy Thanksgiving with your family and friends and ate a lot of food. Got a few projects here for you, a couple of birth flips and one Dollar Tree project. I think they all turned out really cute. So let's get on into them. The first one was actually a shelving unit that I got, and that's what it looked like before I started. I got it off of Facebook Market. It was very crusty and old. You can look at the spindles and actually see how old the wood is. It was cracking and dry. So I sanded it all down. This is how it looked at the top. It was at the very top of the shelving unit. That's how it's set up. So I took those little spindle tops off and flipped them underneath the shelf itself. So I'm going to mark off where I'm going to cut off the little dowel rod to make it flush with the shelf and make a riser. So I'm going to mark each one off and go cut that off with my little saw. And we're going to use Fusion's Carriage House. I just love this color, y'all. And truth be told, this wood was so old and dry. I didn't want to add to the dryness, and I needed a primer and a top coat, so this has both, and the color is beautiful. So we're going to go ahead and paint the spindles and the little back, I don't know what you call that, back plate filigree part, I don't know. But we're going to put 2 coats of the carriage house all over that and the shelf itself. Once we get that painted and let it completely dry, we're going to use the Quick Bond Quick and Thick and glue the spindles back onto the bottom of the shelving unit rather than the top. So I'm going to make sure and get a good bunch around that dowel because, like I said, this is very old and crusty wood. I did not want these to come out. So I'm going to glue each one of these down. Of course, it was then I realized that I had already painted this whole thing, and now I had to fill in those holes where the dowels were. So I put wood putty on it, let it dry. Y'all, I don't know what I was thinking. I don't know why. But I wanted to paint them without it on there, so it was seamless. But anyway, we're also going to be using Fusion's milk paint, and this is in the color Raw Silk. I got 2 tablespoons of warm water and 2 tablespoons of the powder. So we're just going to mix that together. Don't really have a preference on Fusion's milk paint to Sweet Pickins. I don't really notice a difference. To me, milk paint is milk paint. But you can see how thin it is right there. I'm going to set it aside and just let it simmer. But we're going to get our folk art crackle. Love me some crackle. I know it's milk paint, but you know what? I'm going to help it. I've never had too much luck with the milk paint, but I wanted those colors, so I'm just going to help it. And remember, with this crackle, you don't want to overwork it. You just want to do one little swipe, and it's on. So I'm doing very little paint strokes, kind of short, stumpy paint strokes, if you will. Just putting a good solid coat because I want big cracks. I want this to be really distressed. So we're going back to the milk paint. It's thickened up a little bit, not a whole lot, but you know, it is what it is. It's milk paint. So we're just going to put a good coat on it, trying very hard not to overwork that crackle. But you can see as I'm putting it on, it's cracking immediately because this is such thin paint. It really is pretty. The finished product really is gorgeous on this. Of course, I would prefer everything to be crackle, but that's just me. But we're going to put 2 coats all over the little back plate and the stand itself. Look at that crackle. Ooh, so pretty. So pretty. But I did the top as well. And I do go ahead and put 2 coats on this. As much as I did not want to cover up all that crackle, I feel like it really needed the coverage. So I took it outside and sanded it, and we're going to try a different product. This is Dixie Belle Gator Hide. It says repels water, not gators. I thought that was cute. But this is supposed to give a waterproof, like very, very hard seal. I've had it for a long time and I've never used it. I mean, I can't really tell you like results wise because the actual tray hasn't gotten a lot of traffic per se. But I mean, it covered very well. Didn't leave that big of a sheen. But yeah, it says to coat it, let it dry for a couple hours, and then coat it again, and it's a hard sheen. But this is the way it turned out. I think it's really pretty. I think it's old looking, vintage. I love the spindles. I love the shape of them. It looks very Victorian farmhouse kind of. But I really like how it turned out. Tell me what y'all think in the comments. So project 2 is actually some little frames that I got from Dollar Tree. I've had them in my stash for a while, and I've been wanting to make one of these signs. You've probably seen it done a million times, but I'm going to make a sign using a bell from Dollar Tree and just spelling out joy. So we're going to take the backs off of all of them, scrape that off. And this is paper, so I'm going to scrape off that raised lettering, kind of rough it up with some sandpaper. And then I'm just going to spray it with water and let it basically just get really, really soaking wet. And then you can just scrape it off with, you know, any kind of palette knife, a plastic one, metal one, doesn't really matter. It comes off so easy. But it's a lot better than sitting there sanding and sanding and sanding and getting all of it. It comes off so easy. Just get it wet. And they dry really fast because it's cardboard basically. We're going to go back in with the carriage house and we're going to paint 2 of the frames with that and use marquee on the 3rd frame. And all of my DIY products I get from Sammie at Unicorn Dust Designs, as well as the IOD products. So everything that I use in this IOD and DIY wise, you can get on her website. We're then going to come in with vintage linen from DIY and just do a dry brush on all 3 frames just to kind of pull them together. Even though they're painted 3 different colors, I did want them to have some kind of, you know, cohesiveness. So I'm just going to do a dry brush on all 3 of those. And then I got some drop cloth and we're going to use Eileen's Turbo Tacky Glue. I like using this on cloth because it doesn't come through like hot glue. You can't see it. Dries really, really fast, and I've never had a problem with it lifting or anything. I mean, once it's down, it is down. Like, this stuff works very, very good on fabric. I've used it on other stuff as well. It's really good glue. They sell just the regular kind at Dollar Tree, but this is the Turbo. I got it at Walmart. But I'm just going to cover the back plates or the back cardboard pieces with drop cloth. This is just plain drop cloth. And I covered all 3 of them. So we're just going to cut off the excess on all 3 frames. And then we're going to come in with the IOD swoosh letters. I think that's what they're called. Y'all, look what I did. Ooh, my heart stopped. My heart stopped. I thought I dropped it right on the middle of that drop cloth, y'all. Oh my god. But I didn't. We're using the IOD ink tomato. And we're going to stamp that on. I do end up stamping these twice just to get it darker. But I put as much ink on there as I could, and I pressed that down really hard. See, I traced that. But I do still end up going in a second time. And then I'm going to use the masks that come with all of IOD stamps. These are, if you're going to be layering different stamps, they have these masks. So you can put it over the letter, and I'm going to use elements from the Christmas adornment stamps that were put out this year. And I'm going to make kind of like a border around the lettering, but I didn't want it to go over the lettering. So I put those stamps, or the masks down, excuse me. That way, when I stamp up the side, like right here, I'm going over the I and the back of that J, but see, now it looks like it's behind it. So this one, I just wanted the poinsettia right there. So I'm just going to press that in, and then I'm going to flip it around and just press that down. I really like how these turned out. And then I'm going to lift the mask up, and there's no stamp underneath it. I'm going to do the same thing with the Y. This is the middle one that I'm going to put the bell on. So it's another element from the Christmas adornment stamp. And this is in the gray ink, the stone gray, because I didn't want it very dark. I didn't want it to take away from the lettering at all. I just wanted it very subtle. So we're going to slip these back into each frame. Look how they turned out. Oh, so excited. Okay, so we're going to take the bell, and y'all, I took all the embellishments and everything off of this bell, right? Tell me why. Okay, I'll show you at the reveal. I end up putting the exact same embellishments back on it, but from a different pick. It's hilarious. But this is a bow that I already had made from a different project, so I'm just going to glue that up top. I put a little hook at the top of that frame to hold the bell, and we're going to glue down the sides of the ribbon because I didn't want it flopping around. This is a good way to kind of cascade your ribbon. Bend it up and then flip it down just with your fingers behind it, and put one little bead of glue, and it looks kind of like a banner. And yes, I glued the bow down and did not seal these frames. So I had to go back and get the clear wax from IOD, or excuse me, from DIY, and seal them all. And this is how it turned out. I love this sign, y'all. And just FYI, those are the same embellishments that actually came on the bell, but they weren't glittery and frosty. I don't know why I felt the need I needed to change it, but oh well. Tell me what y'all think in the comments. So project 3 is actually a thrift flip. I got these from Sammie. And we're going to go in with vintage linen and some salt wash. They were actually like a gold, green, totally not my color scheme color. So I spray painted them black and went in with the vintage linen and did with the salt wash, it gave it some texture. So now after it dried, I'm going back in with a baby wipe and I'm taking that back down to the black because I want those swags to show up. So I'm gonna wipe all of that back to just make the raised parts pop, just like you do, just like we do with wax. You put wax on it, you're gonna wipe it back just to let the raised pieces show. But you can see as I'm working down, you can see the difference between the left and the right, how much that swag pops out after you wipe it off of the front. It's crazy. But I'm going to do the same thing there's cording going around the bottom, around the top. There's a little pine cone looking thing on the bottom. You see it right there. And then I'm like, okay, well, I'm just going to, wherever it's creased, I'm going to take it off. So I end up doing it down everywhere it's creased. I think I used probably 15 of those baby wipes. These are little angels from the DIY Struggle paper. They're so pretty. I'm just going to put them on with Big Top. I'm not going to spray them because this is a textured surface, so I'm not worried about wrinkles. So I'm just going to lay them down with Big Top because I'm going to end up putting a coat of Big Top on both of these anyway. So I'm just going to go ahead and use Big Top as my decoupage medium, which is completely fine. So I'm going to lay those down just as we usually do, just like a little strip, and press it down with my fingers. Didn't get enough. And I'm going to work it down because this is very textured, not extremely textured, but it's textured. So I'm going to try to work it into all those little bumps and grooves. So I'm just going to go ahead and do an entire coat of Big Top over both of them. And then we're going to use some alchemy waxes. This one is white pearl, and then the other one is old silver. I didn't want to do gold because I thought it would take away from the black. I didn't want to mask the black. So I wanted to bring out the actual pearlescent, of the background of the angel, and look how pretty that is. Again, you can see the difference from the right that has the pearl on it to the left. It's so pretty. Y'all, these turned out gorgeous. I love, love, love the way these turned out. What do y'all think? Let me know in the comments which one was your favorite. Remember to like and subscribe, press that notification bell, let you know when I upload. And remember, guys, you are beautiful and you can do hard things. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Have a good one.